Did you know that there's a country where people actually bury their food underground for 48 hours to cook it? Where rice is considered so precious it's served at weddings like gold? And where a single spice trade route shaped an entire nation's palate for over 2,000 years? Welcome to Oman, the Arabian Peninsula's best-kept culinary secret that food critics are calling the next great undiscovered cuisine. While the world obsesses over Japanese ramen and Italian pasta, Oman has been quietly, and I mean quietly, perfecting flavor combinations that would make Gordon Ramsay weep with joy. This is a land where Omani frankincense, worth more than gold historically, still perfumes their coffee, where Persian influences dance with African spices, and where Indian Ocean trade winds carried recipes that became legendary. Today, we're embarking on a culinary odyssey through the Sultanate of Oman. We'll uncover ancient cooking techniques that predate your favorite celebrity chef by centuries, taste dishes that tell stories of maritime empires, and discover why food experts predict Omani cuisine will be the next global food trend. To understand Omani cuisine, we must first travel back in time. Picture this. It's the 7th century, and Omani sailors are navigating treacherous waters from Zanzibar to India, their dhows loaded not just with frankincense and dates, oh no, but with the building blocks of what would become one of the world's most complex flavor profiles. Oman sits at the crossroads of 3 continents, Asia, Africa, and Arabia. This geographical lottery ticket meant that for over a millennium, spices, techniques, and ingredients from across the known world filtered through Omani ports. The result? A cuisine that's simultaneously familiar yet completely unique. Let's talk about the spice blend that forms the backbone of Omani cooking, Bahara Omani. Unlike the Bahara used elsewhere in the Middle East, the Omani version contains a secret weapon, dried lime powder or lomi. This gives every dish a subtle citrusy depth that's absolutely addictive. Watch this. And I really mean watch this. When you smell authentic Omani Bahara, you'll detect cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper. But then there's this mysterious tangy note that makes your mouth water instantly. That's the lomi working its magic. A technique borrowed from Persian traders, but absolutely perfected by Omani cooks. Omani cuisine rests on 3 foundational pillars. Rice, but not just any rice. We're talking about aged basmati that's treated with the reverence of fine wine. Meat, particularly goat, lamb, and a surprising amount of seafood for a desert nation. Dates, the national fruit that appears in both sweet and savory applications. But here's what makes Omani cuisine fascinating. It's the techniques that set it apart. While neighboring countries might grill or stew their meat, Omanis perfected the art of underground cooking and clay pot slow cooking that creates textures and flavors impossible to replicate with modern methods. The crown jewel, Shuwa. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Shuwa, arguably the most spectacular dish in Middle Eastern cuisine, and quite possibly one of the most labor-intensive meals on earth. Imagine this process. An entire goat or lamb is marinated for hours, in a paste made from over 20 different spices. We're talking cardamom, cinnamon, coriander, cumin, turmeric, dried roses, and that magical Omani bahara. The meat is then wrapped in palm fronds, and here's where it gets absolutely incredible. Buried in a specially dug pit with burning charcoal and left to cook for 24 to 48 hours. Shuwa is not just food, it's patience made edible. The slow cooking, the earth, the smoke, they all become part of the flavor. You cannot rush Shuwa. The earth itself becomes your oven. When they finally unearth the Shuwa, what emerges is meat so tender it literally, and I mean literally, falls off the bone. The exterior has a smoky, almost barbecue-like crust, while the interior is impossibly juicy and infused with all those spices. The flavor is complex beyond belief. You taste the earth, the smoke, the spices, and something indefinably ancient. What's happening scientifically is remarkable. The consistent low heat, around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, breaks down collagen into gelatin over 24+ hours, while the palm fronds create a natural steaming effect. The earth provides insulation, and the charcoal gives that irreplaceable smoky flavor. It's essentially the world's most elaborate sous vide technique, invented centuries before modern cooking understood the science. The first bite is an experience. No, it's more than that. It's a revelation. The meat has absorbed every nuance of the spice blend, but it's not overpowering. It's balanced, complex, with layers of flavor that reveal themselves as you chew. There's heat from the chilies, sweetness from the cinnamon, earthiness from the cumin, and that bright citrus note from the lomi. The royal rice, kabsa Omani. If Shuwa is the king of Omani cuisine, Then kabsa Omani is the queen, elegant, complex, and absolutely essential to understanding this culinary tradition. Now, you might think kabsa is just Saudi rice, but you'd be so wrong. Omani kabsa is distinctly different, and here's why. The rice is aged for at least 2 years before use, similar to how Italians age their risotto rice. This aging process changes the starch structure, allowing each grain to absorb more flavor while maintaining its individual integrity. Incredible! Watch this technique. First, the rice is washed in 7 changes of water until it runs completely clear. Then it's soaked in salted water with a touch of turmeric for exactly 30 minutes. Meanwhile, a whole chicken or pieces of lamb are slow cooked with tomatoes, onions, and that signature Omani spice blend. Here's the crucial moment. When the rice is added to the meat and stock, the ratio must be perfect. Typically 2:1 liquid to rice, but Omani cooks judge this by sight, sound, and even smell. They listen for the rice to stop singing, that gentle bubbling sound, which indicates it's absorbed the right amount of liquid. But what makes Omani kabsa spectacular is the garnish: fried almonds, raisins, crispy fried onions, and sometimes even rose petals. These aren't just decorative. They provide textural contrast and flavor bursts that elevate the dish from comfort food to fine dining. When properly made, Omani kabsa is a masterpiece of balance. Each grain of rice is separate yet cohesive, infused with the essence of the meat and spices. The meat is fall-apart tender, and those garnishes provide little surprises in every bite. The sweetness of raisins, the crunch of almonds, and the sharpness of the fried onions. The seafood revolution, Omani coastal cuisine. Here's something that surprises most people, and I mean really surprises them. Oman has over 1,200 miles of coastline, and their seafood game is absolutely incredible. We're talking about techniques and preparations that rival the best coastal cuisines in the world. The Arabian Sea and Gulf of Oman provide an abundance of fish that most of the world has never heard of. Kingfish, locally called shari, hamar, grouper, Sultan Ibrahim, red mullet, and the prize tuna caught using traditional methods passed down through generations. Mashwai, the grilled kingfish revelation. Let me introduce you to mashwai. Quite possibly the best grilled fish dish you've never heard of. Whole kingfish is butterflied, marinated in a paste of green chilies, garlic, ginger, turmeric, and lime, then grilled over charcoal until the skin is crispy and the meat flakes perfectly. But here's the genius part. Are you ready for this? It's served with muhammer, a sweet savory rice cooked with dates, rose water, and saffron. The combination of the spicy, smoky fish with the fragrant, slightly sweet rice is absolutely mind-blowing. Fish curry Omani style. Then there's fish curry Omani, which is completely different from Indian fish curry, despite the obvious influences. Omani fish curry uses coconut milk, but it's balanced with tamarind paste and dried limes, creating a sauce that's creamy, tangy, and complex without being heavy. The fish, usually hamar or red snapper, is cut into steaks and briefly seared before being added to the curry. This technique ensures the fish doesn't break apart while absorbing all those incredible flavors. The result is a dish that's comforting yet sophisticated, familiar yet completely unique. Omani desserts and coffee culture. Omani dessert culture is where the country's trading history really shines. These aren't just sweets, they're edible stories of cultural exchange spanning centuries. Halwa Omani, the national dessert. Halwa Omani is the national dessert, and it's unlike any halwa you've had elsewhere. Made with sugar, starch, ghee, rose water, saffron, and cardamom, it has a unique gelatinous texture that's somehow both bouncy and creamy. The preparation is an art form. The mixture must be stirred continuously for hours until it reaches the perfect consistency. Master halwa makers can judge doneness by sound, watching for the moment when the stirring spoon makes a specific scraping sound against the pot. Traditional halwa comes in different colors that indicate different flavors: brown with cinnamon, green with pistachios, pink with rose water, and yellow with saffron. Each has a distinct flavor profile, but all share that characteristic chewy smooth texture that's absolutely addictive. Coffee culture, Qawa Omani. No discussion of Omani cuisine is complete without Qawa Omani, Omani coffee. This isn't your morning espresso. It's a ceremonial drink that's an integral part of Omani hospitality. The coffee beans are roasted with cardamom pods until fragrant, then ground with rose water and sometimes a tiny amount of saffron. The resulting coffee is light in color, floral in aroma, and surprisingly mild in caffeine, but intense in flavor. Kahwa is traditionally served in small, handleless cups with dates. The ritual is precise. The host offers coffee first to the eldest or most honored guest, refilling cups until the guest signals they've had enough by shaking the cup slightly. Street food revolution, modern Omani flavors. While we've explored traditional Omani cuisine, the country's food scene is experiencing an incredible renaissance. Young Omani chefs are taking traditional flavors and techniques and creating something entirely new. Shawarma Omani style. Take shawarma Omani. It looks familiar, but one bite reveals something special. The meat is marinated in traditional Omani spices, and instead of tahini or garlic sauce, it's served with a chutney made from dates, tamarind, and chilies. The bread is often traditional Omani flatbread rather than pita. Mandi, the Yemeni-Omani fusion. Mandi has become hugely popular in Oman, but local chefs have adapted it using traditional Omani techniques. Instead of the standard Yemeni preparation, some restaurants are incorporating the Shuwa underground cooking method, creating a fusion that's uniquely Omani. In upscale restaurants in Muscat, you'll find dishes like Shuwa sliders, traditional Shuwa meat in modern burger form with Omani spice aioli, or halwa creme brulee, combining the traditional dessert with French technique. Ready to taste Oman for yourself? In Muscat, head to Al Firdaus restaurant for the best kabsa in town. For a traditional Shuwa feast, check out Al Waha restaurant near Al Hamra. And if you're in Salalah, don't miss the Kharif season, where you can try seasonal dishes made with fresh mountain produce. And for the ultimate Omani experience, try a desert dining tour, where you'll feast under the stars, surrounded by dunes and drums. As our culinary journey through Oman comes to an end, it's clear that this isn't just another Middle Eastern cuisine. Oh no, it's something entirely unique. From the earth-cooked magnificence of Shuwa to the delicate complexity of Omani halwa, from ancient spice routes to modern fusion innovation, Oman offers flavors and experiences you simply cannot find anywhere else in the world. What makes Omani cuisine truly special isn't just the food. It's the culture of hospitality, the respect for tradition, and the willingness to share their culinary secrets with the world. In a country where saying "Alin wa salin, welcome" isn't just politeness, but a way of life, food becomes a bridge between cultures, a way of telling stories, and a celebration of human connection.